Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadhari Gopi Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Guran Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for today's morning Bhagavatam class. We have the privilege and honor to hear today from His Holiness Svayam Bhagavan KeshavaSwami Maharaj. Hari Bol. Introduction of Maharaj. After graduating from University College London, Maharaj became a 21-year-old monk and continues that journey over 2 decades. I believe back in 2002, Maharaj also visited Pune as a monk that time. Later, having studied ancient Sanskrit texts for over 2.5 decades to 25 years, he has gone on to author 10 books and design over 50 courses, empowering his audiences to apply ancient insights to upgrade relationships, discover purpose, overcome inner blocks, and craft well-being on all levels. Maharaj's social media presence and his online teaching platforms have introduced tens and thousands of people to this ancient wisdom. In 2022, he co-founded Think Gita, www.thinkgita.org, which is now the fastest growing online portal for learning the Bhagavad Gita in a powerful, exciting, and a life-changing way. Nowadays, he is a globe-trotter, teaching in eminent academic institutions, Fortune 500 companies, governmental organizations, and spiritual communities. He remains a thought leader on the cutting edge, and also cutting edge when it comes to quotations. Maharaj, yesterday in the Brahmachari class, after every 5 minutes, there was a cutting edge quotation. I was making a note of it, and which are very life inspiring. Inspired to share wisdom that breathes, not just book knowledge, but deep spiritual insights that transform character and consciousness. He took sannyas in 2022 and have been traveling widely all over the world. There are many books that have been authored by Maharaj. Some of the books are over here on the table, which all of you can explore afterwards. Books authored by Maharaj. Gita Life, a summary of Bhagavad Gita. If in case you found this name familiar, Gita Life, many temples in India now use the name Gita Life. The origin is London. So many of our Gita programs are called Gita Life. Even our Gita Life program was like that. IQ, EQ, SQ, Life, the universe and everything. Tattva, see inside out. Tattva 2, old words, open new worlds. Bhakti Life, 18 simple steps to Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Compact. Book Bhagavat, the life companion. These are summary study guides. Gita 3, a contemporary guide to the timeless teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Playground of God. Loving Life, Embracing Death. Masterminds of Bhakti, that is upcoming, and some books compiled by Maharaj's Vedas, Secrets of the East, based on Prabhupada's teachings, and in essence, again based on the teachings of Prabhupada. So let us all welcome Maharaj here for the program, for the class. He's traveled all the way to give his valuable association. We had been waiting for this moment, finally this year. So let's welcome Maharaj by once loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the kind introduction and the warm welcome. Very happy to be here with all of you. Actually, I am your junior. I've come here to learn from all of you. I was mentioning yesterday morning that ISKCON Pune and the community you have here and the example you're setting is inspiring all the devotees around the world. So I take your permission this morning to try to share something from Srimad Bhagavatam, and today we can together have a discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from Canto number 7, chapter number 2, entitled Hiranyakashipu, the King of Demons. Today we're reading from text number 58. Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Bala evam pravadati Sarve Vishmita Chetasha Gyatayo Menire Sarvam Anityam Ayatotitam Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Bala evam pravadati Sarve Vishmita Chetasha Gyatayo Menire Sarvam Anityam Ayathotitam Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Bala evam pravadati Sarve Vishmita Chetasha Gyatayo Menire Sarvam Anityam Ayathotitam. Evam pravadati Vacha Balamevam pravadati Sarve Vishmita Chetasha Gyatayo Merire Sarvam Anityam Ayathotitam Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Balamevam pravadati Matajis. Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Bala evam pravadati Sarve Vishmita Chetasha Gyatayo Menire Sarvam Anityam Ayathotitam Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Balameva Pravadati Sarve Vishmita Chetasha Gyatayo Menire Sarvam Anityam Ayathotitam Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha. Shri Hiranyakashipu said, Bale, while Yamaraj, in the form of a boy, Evam, thus, Pravadati, was speaking very philosophically. Sarve, all, Vishmita, struck with wonder. Chaitasha, their hearts. Gyataya, the relatives. Menire, they thought. Sarvam, everything material. Anityam, temporary. Ayatha utitam, arisen from temporary phenomena. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Just before I do the translation, this is a very interesting section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. As we know, the Bhagavatam is a set of conversations. The conversation that we are essentially reading in Srimad Bhagavatam is the conversation between Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya headed by Shaunaka Rishi. However, in the course of that conversation, they quote many other conversations. And this part of the Bhagavatam is the part of the Bhagavatam where we go to the deepest level of conversation. So this is actually a conversation 6 levels in. The first conversation is between Sutta and the sages. They are quoting the conversation between Sukadev and Parikshit. They are quoting the conversation between Yudhishthira and Narada. They are quoting the conversation between Hiranyakashipu and the relatives. They are now quoting the conversation between Yamaraj and the wives of Suyagya, and they will now quote the conversation between the 2 Kulinga birds. So what you are reading is a conversation inside a conversation, inside a conversation, inside a conversation, inside a conversation, which is inside a conversation. Hare Krishna. You got that, right? Translation. Hiranyakashipu said, while Yamaraj in the form of a small boy was instructing all the relatives surrounding the dead body of Suyagya, everyone was struck with wonder by his philosophical words. They could not understand that everything material is temporary, not continuing to exist. Purport. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.18. Antavanta ime deha nitya shokta sharirina. The body is perishable, but the soul within the body is imperishable. Therefore, the duty of those advanced in knowledge in human society is to study the constitutional position of the imperishable soul and not waste the valuable time of human life in merely maintaining the body and not considering life's real responsibility. Every human being should try to understand how the spirit soul can be happy and where he can attain an eternal blissful life of knowledge. Human beings are meant to study these subject matters, not to be absorbed in caring for the temporary body, which is sure to change. No one knows whether he will receive a human body again. There is no guarantee, for according to one's work, one may get any body, from that of a demigod to that of a dog. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya comments, Aham mama bhimanadi tvayotattam anityakam maha dadi yathotam cha nitya chapi yathotita ashvatantreva prakriti svatantro nitya eva cha yathartha bhutascha para eka eva janardana. Only Janardan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ever existing. But his creation, the material world, is temporary. Therefore, everyone who is captivated by the material energy and absorbed in thinking, I am this body, and everything belonging to this body is mine, is in illusion. One should think only of being eternally a part of Janardhan, and one's endeavor in this material world, especially in this human form of life, should be to attain the association of Janardhan by going back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki. So yes, everyone will die. That's a fact. There was one Eastern European philosopher, Leo Tolstoy. He said, I know that everyone has to die, but I thought an exception would be made in my case. There's no exception. Life is like a game of chess. Whether you're the king, the queen, or the pawn, at the end of the game, everyone ends up in the box. Everyone finishes. Therefore, Yamaraj asks Yudhishthira, what is the most amazing thing in the world? Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti ha yamalayam sheshasta varamichanti kimascharyam mataparam. What is the most amazing thing in the world? Ahani ahani bhutani, every single day living entities. Gachanti ha yamalayam, are going to the abode of Yamaraj. Every single day living entities are dying. Shesha stavaramichanti, but I think I will stay here forever. Kimascharyam ataparam. What can be more amazing than this? It's amazing how every single day we see death, but death always amazes us, isn't it? When we hear, oh, someone has died, immediately the heart feels, oh, shock. Although we know death is there, death is coming, death is just waiting to happen. And so, anityam asukham lokam, Krishna says, this world is temporary. Everything in this world is temporary. Not just the body, but even everything we get on the journey through this life in this body, all of that is also temporary. Once there was a king and he had imprisoned many subjects. So one day he came to the subjects and he said, if you can answer my question and give me something, then I will let you free. And he said, I want you to give me something that will make me happy when I'm sad, and sad when I'm happy. If you can give me something that will make me happy when I'm sad, and which the same thing will make me sad when I'm happy, if you can solve my question, then I'll let you free from prison. So everyone was going around. Sometimes I ask audience this question. One time, one Grihastha man put his hand up and he said, marriage. I said, you said it, not me. So, one person came to the king and he said, I got the answer. So the king said, this better be good. He said, I got the answer. And he put a box in front of him. The king said, what's the meaning of this box? He said, no, open the box. So he opened the box and there was a ring. So the king said, how will this make me happy when I'm sad and sad when I'm happy? He said, I want you to put this ring on your finger. So the king put the ring on his finger and he said, now I want you to read what it says on the ring. And what did it say on the ring? This too shall pass. This will pass. When you're happy, don't worry. It's coming to an end soon. And when you're sad, don't worry. It's coming to an end soon. Sitoshna sukha dukkha da agama payino nityas. It's all a nitya. It's all temporary appearance and disappearance. Because everything in the world just comes and goes. In time, we lose everything. You lose your abilities. We become very proud of our abilities. I'm good at this, I'm good at that, I'm able at this, I'm able at that. And then eventually in the course of time, all your abilities are taken away. Krishna takes it all away. We become proud of our facilities. I have this, I have that. Money, possessions, power. With time, everything you lose everything. It's all taken away. We become proud of our identities. I'm in this position, I'm this kind of person. With time, you lose all of your titles as well. Everything is taken away. Therefore, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham, in the form of death, Krishna comes and takes away everything. And during life, Krishna periodically takes things away from us. So time is a very, very amazing force of nature, because time is removing all of our illusion. Because we illusorily identify with so many things. And so what the force of time does, Kalosmi, Krishna says, time I am, and I come and I take away everything to help you realize you're not your abilities, you're not your facilities, you're not defined by your relationships of this world, you're not defined by your titles or your positions. None of this is you. You are an eternal soul, separate from all of these things. And so, everyone will have everything taken away from them, and then the final journey is that even your own body is taken away. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna shows Arjuna the universal form, then Arjuna sees everyone entering into the body of the universal form, dying. And there, two analogies are given. Krishna says, or is described, the universal form is described, that everyone is entering into the universal form like moths into the fire. That's one example that's given. And the other example is given is that everyone is entering into the universal form and dying like rivers entering into a ocean. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that these are the two different modes of dying. Some people, everyone will have to die. But some people die like moths going into a fire. The example is Duryodhan. And some are entering death like rivers into the ocean, and the example is Bhishma Dev. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. So he says some people, their life is like a river entering into an ocean. Before they enter into the ocean, that river gives so much nourishment, gives so much pleasure, gives so much service to society, and then finally that river enters into the ocean. So the great devotees like Bhishma Dev, they give so much and then they die. Whereas Duryodhan, the moth, is so self-absorbed that on the way to death, they don't think about anyone or anything. They just want to reach their goal. And ultimately they die without doing anything good in this world. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, we have the opportunity to die in one of these two ways. If you die like the moth going into the fire, like Duryodhan, then when you reach your destination, you feel like everything has burned to ashes. And you feel your whole life has disappeared before you. But if you enter into the ocean and you die in that way, then what happens is when it comes to the point of death, you just rest peacefully in that body of water with no anxiety and no distress. So like this, there are different ways also of dying. But what here is being explained by Hiranyakashipu to his relatives is that Hiranyakashipu is saying you have to become detached. because ultimately everything will be taken away. So there's different ways to become detached. One is that we go through all the experiences of life, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha. Eventually in vanaprastha we begin to give everything up, and then we prepare for death. So that's one way in which we prepare for death, by gradually going into the world, experiencing, and then gradually giving everything up so that we have no attachment. And the other way to pursue the ultimate goal of life is to simply, from the beginning, embrace detachment and renunciation, and do that for your whole life. Of course, when Narad Muni taught the sons of Daksha to do this way, option B, then Daksha was not very happy. Because his 10,000 sons, the Haryashvas, right? Haryashvas, yes. He was expecting them to enter into family life. And Narad Muni says, you don't have to. You can just go direct, renunciation. And then later on, Daksha, he criticized Narad Muni. He said, you have done a great injustice because you have taught them about detachment before they've enjoyed this world. First, they should enjoy this world, and then they can become detached. And Narad Muni explained to him that different people learn in different ways. Some people have to experience, but some people simply by hearing can understand there's no point trying to enjoy this world. Let me just leave it all behind. So one way or the other, direct or indirect, immediate or step by step, everyone has to come to the point of detachment. When Parikshit got cursed to die in 7 days, then the Bhagavatam explains, Atmajaya sutagara pashudra vinabandushu raje cha vikale nityam viruddham mamatam jaho. Parikshit realized, I'm going to die in 7 days, therefore let me start giving everything up. What's the first thing he gave up? Atma, attachment to his own body. Jaya, attachment to his wife, he left it behind. Suta, attachment to the children, left it behind. Gara, attachment to his palaces, left it behind. Pashu, attachment to his animals, left it behind. Dravina, attachment to his treasury, left it behind. Rajay, attachment to his kingdom, left it behind. Because he knew, if I don't voluntarily leave these things behind, anyway in 7 days, I'm going to be stripped of all of these things. Therefore, do you want it to be snatched from your hand? Or do you want to just give it up and walk away? Therefore, he was intelligent. He understood that I have to give everything up. So, in Krishna consciousness, detachment is not the goal. Detachment is not even an anga of bhakti. However, detachment is an important principle which can help one to nourish their bhakti. Because while one is holding on to material things, material aspirations, material ideas, Krishna says, Bhogeshvarya prashaktanam taya parita chetasham vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho nuvidiyate. If you're still holding on here, then you won't be able to give the full focus, the full attention, the full one-pointed, resolute determination for devotional service. Therefore, internally, every single devotee has to be becoming more and more detached from the material world so that they can become more and more attached to Krishna. So Hiranyakashipu here is telling his relatives so many nice points. Unfortunately, he hasn't understood any of it himself. Sometimes we can be very good at teaching philosophy, but how much have we actually understood that philosophy. Therefore, knowledge has to be accompanied by many things. Otherwise, that knowledge doesn't go very, very deep. So if you look very, very closely at our Shastra and our different accounts, then you will see that knowledge has to be accompanied by different things. The first thing knowledge has to be accompanied by is Sangha. Unless one learns knowledge in the association of devotees, that knowledge won't actually go deep into one's heart. Tapan Mishra was someone who had studied many, many literatures, but he didn't have Vaishnav Sangha. And therefore, what did he say? Bahu Shastra, Bahu Vakya, Chitte Brahma hoy, Sadhya Sadhana Shreshta, Na hoy Nishchoy. He said, I've studied so many books, Bahu Shastra, Bahu Vakya, I've heard so many things, Chitte Brahma hoy, but I'm still confused. I have no idea what I'm meant to be doing. Because one must understand Shastra, Satam Prasangan, Mama Virya Samvido. One must hear Shastra in the association. So therefore, knowledge must be accompanied by Sangha. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says knowledge must be accompanied by faith. Shraddha vallabhate jnanam tatpara shamyatendriya. Krishna says Shraddha vallabhate jnanam. One who is faithful, labhate jnanam, they can actually get knowledge. It's not just a matter of hearing, but one must hear with faith. Otherwise, without that faith, the heart is not a fertile place for that knowledge to take place. So knowledge must be accompanied by faith. Knowledge must also be accompanied by humility. Krishna explains in the Gita, amanitvam, adambitvam. Unless one is humble, one cannot receive any knowledge. And through one's knowledge, if one doesn't become humble, then one can understand that person didn't realize anything at all. Therefore, when Romaharshan Sutta was in the forest of Naimisharanya and he was speaking on Bhagavatam, and Balaram came, and Romaharshan Sutta failed to show proper respect to Balaram, then Balaram blasted him. Rishir Bhagavato Bhutva Shishyudhitya Bahunicha Saitihasa Puranani Dharmashastrani Sarvasha Adantasya Vinitasya Vrita Pandita Manina Nagunaya Bhavanti Sma Natasyeva Jitatmana. Rishir Bhagavato Bhutva, you're the disciple of Vyas. Saitihasa Puranani, you've studied the Itihas, you've studied the Puranas, Dharma Shastrani Sarvasha, you studied the Dharma Shastra, you've practically studied all of the books that there are. Adantasya, Vinitasya, but you never became humble. There's no humility in your heart. Vrita, Pandita Manina, but you think that you're a big scholar. Na gunaya bhavanti sma. No good qualities came from all of your studies. Natasyeva jitatmana. And therefore all of your study of Shastra is simply like an actor acting in a play. Heavy. Knowledge must be accompanied by humility. Otherwise, what's the value of that knowledge? So like this, as we go further and further, we will see that knowledge must be accompanied by other things. Knowledge must be accompanied by seva. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. If you want to really have knowledge, then you don't just study books, but what you do is you go out in the world and you serve. Because it's through that service. Sevan mukhe hi jiva do Svayam eva spuratyada. This was one of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's most quoted verses, that one must serve and then the senses become purified and then one can understand Krishna. So all of these things are there. Knowledge must be accompanied by all of these different things. Knowledge must ultimately be accompanied by mercy. If one doesn't please the Vaishnavas, and if one doesn't get mercy, then that knowledge won't go anywhere. Brahmaji understood this, and therefore what did he say? Athapite deva padambujadvaya prashadalesa nugrihita evahi janati tattvam Bhagavan mahimno nachanyameko pichiran vichinvan. Prashadalesha nugrihita evahi. One can know so many things, but if they don't have a slight trace of the mercy of the Lord, janati tattvam Bhagavan mahimno, they cannot understand the glories of the Supreme Lord. Brahmaji he was bewildered. So he came to this realization, you need mercy. So therefore here we see in the Bhagavatam, Hiranyakashipu uvacha, so many things to say, but how much has he understood it? Because there's no sangha, there's no seva, there's no sadachar, there's no mercy, there's no faith, and therefore the knowledge doesn't go very, very deep. And so the Bhagavatam is not just meant to make us into scholars. The Bhagavatam is meant to make us into bhaktas. You graduate from the University of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when you become a beggar. A scholar has to become a beggar. The proof is Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. He was a scholar, but then later on he became a beggar because he realized more advanced than a scholar is a beggar. Because a beggar is one who has understood the real bhavartha, the real meaning, the real purport of the knowledge, because they haven't just understood philosophically, but they've understood which is a heart, with a heart which is full of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So I stop here, I won't speak too long. Yes, if there are any questions or comments or corrections. Yes. Prabhu here, or here.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, very grateful for your deep enlightenment, which I opened my eyes to become beggar instead of scholar. So thank you so much for
Hare
telling me the goal. So I beg you one thing immediately, to please enlighten me, what is this quality of humility? Because it seems to be very profound thing. And many people are very, submissive, sweet-spoken, and humble. Not humble. Humble, I don't know. I am trying to understand.
What is humility?
Yeah, that's what. Can you please help me understand?
I think that takes one lifetime to understand. His Grace Burijan Prabhu, once he was in Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan you have the sugarcane machine. That big wheel, and then the stick goes through and it crushes the stick. And then, so he saw that sugarcane machine and he made a prayer. May the hard, crushing wheel of life extract some humility from my offense-hardened heart, and may the nectar of that humility give rise to pure love for Krishna. Powerful. May the hard, crushing wheel of life extract some humility from my offense-hardened heart. The heart has become so hard over lifetimes. Tadasmasaram hridayam batedam nagriyamaner harinam adhyayai. The heart has become so hard, so impersonal, so miserly, so insensitive. And we need to break that heart. We need to soften that heart. Humility means a soft heart. Humility means to understand I'm not the center of existence. Humility means to be joyfully insignificant. Humility means to have no expectation. And our Varshana Swami in New Vrindavan says, humility doesn't mean to think less of yourself, but it means to think of yourself less. And one devotee said something to me about humility which I liked very much. He said, if you're not perfect, then you should be humble. But the moment you're humble, you're perfect. That's very nice. When we look in the mirror, this morning we were remembering, Bhakti nahi, Bedi nahi. Prabhupada's humility is our reality. We look in the mirror and we say, Bhakti nahi. I present myself as such a devotional soul. But if I look in my heart, how much devotion do I have? I present myself as a scholar. I sit on a seat and quote many verses. But if I look in my heart, how much of that knowledge have I understood? Bedi nahi. But still, in all of that, if we can humbly take the humble position and rely on the holy name of Krishna, then there's still a hope. Therefore, one should become humble and rely on the holy name of Krishna. Mahaprabhu says, Urdhva bahu kahi kaha suna sarva lok, nama sutre ganti pare kantha e shlok. This verse, Tranada Pisuni Chaina, you should string it on the thread of the holy name and wear it around your neck every single day. That's the only hope. There's no hope in this world unless one becomes a humble servant of the holy name. So yeah, this is humility. So it's a very deep topic. These are some thoughts. Hare Krishna. I see hands. Someone can choose. I don't.
Is it on?
Yes, it's on.
Thank you very much for your wonderful class. I'm fortunate to have your association for the second time in a very short period of time. I was at Intel in Phoenix, Arizona, where I got an opportunity to hear your seminar. And coincidentally, I had come to Pune today, and I was not expecting you, but so grateful to get a chance to hear from you so soon. Maharaj, one question was that if this material world had not progressed after Brahmaji originally created it, still this bhakti process would have still been applicable, meaning chanting, eating prasad, taking association, all those processes, still all the conditioned souls would have been able to practice it and go back home to Godhead. But then so much of material progress has taken place ever since. And today we are spending so much material energies into creating iPhones or Teslas or self-driving cars. And Grahasthas, they are working for such companies or Microsoft and Google or aspiring to work in such companies. So,
or Intel.
Or Intel, exactly. So, as Grahasthas, how do we understand or how do we feel enthused to spend so much of energies, hours and hours into creating such technologies which is really not needed? We say we use it just because it is Krishna's energy and it's in Krishna's service, but is it really required at first place? And then for our next generation, do we encourage them to become computer science engineers and go and work for such companies? I mean, spend so much of hours and get into the competition at first place. to end up struggling doing your regular bhakti practices?
Rupa Goswami says, Anashaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. Basically, we have to make the best use of a bad bargain. We're living in the material world. That's bad news. Bad news. But we have to make the best use of a bad bargain. Here we are. Now what we have to do is we have to learn the Hari Sambandha. The Hari Sambandha means how do you connect everything you have in service to Krishna. One time a reporter said to Prabhupada, why are you traveling on planes all around the world? Prabhupada said, you are going to hell the speed of a plane, and if I follow you in a bullock car, I can't catch you. So therefore, we use everything. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, like, love, follow, do whatever you need to do. We are trying to spread the word, and we'll use whatever we can. So if we can use technology, if we can use whatever is here in the world and purify it. Once a reporter said to Prabhupada also, why are you using all of these vehicles? Prabhupada said, we are the only qualified ones who should be allowed to use these things because we're using it for the right purpose. Actually, all of you shouldn't be using it. We should be using it. So we use everything. So we are here in the world. What are we going to do? Even if you say, as grihastas, should we be going in and working for firms and living in the city? But how many of us could just eject ourselves from the world? Okay, here you go. Eject yourself from the world. Go and live in a farm. Can we do it? Maybe we can't because we are conditioned. So then we live in the city because also we're conditioned. But then what we try to do is we make it Krishna conscious. So like that. Yes, the world is unnecessarily complicated. And it's advancement, but there's no advancement. There's no advancement. They say first we were nowhere, and then we progressed and we got somewhere. Then we got technology and now we're everywhere. But because we have technology, we're always constantly elsewhere. And because we're constantly elsewhere, practically we're nowhere. So it's all going around in circles. The material world is just going around in circles. It's absolutely crazy. We do things we think is normal, but it's absolutely, like say for example, 50 years ago, when you wanted to get from one place to another, you rode a bicycle. Yeah, you ride a bicycle, you go to the other place. Then what happened is we became advanced. So we built motorcycles. So now, the whole day, we speed around in motorcycles, in cars, going from place to place to place. And then what they do in cities like London is after working hard all day, they go to the gym, and then they go in a room, and they sit on a bicycle, and they ride it, and they sweat and sweat and sweat, and they go absolutely nowhere. And we think this is normal. This is very advanced, gym membership. This world is mad. There's no doubt about it. It's completely mad. But we just make the best use of a bad bargain and then we get out. I think some Matajis had questions also. Son.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for this eye-opening class, and I'm eternally indebted to you. Even the yesterday class on leadership that you gave was so wonderful, especially for me it was an eye-opening class. Maharaj, you mentioned that knowledge has to be backed up by association, detachment, seva. And it's been years we have, been gaining knowledge from Srila Prabhupada's books, but it's very difficult. That knowledge application, we've been trying, and it's a little difficult. I mean, if I see for myself, I need to do a lot of changes. At least I'm aware that I have to do a lot of changes. But many times it is very difficult to apply that knowledge at the right moment, at the right place, to the right person. So if you can help me, you can enlighten me on that.
Keep trying. Mataji, there's no special magic formula. We just have to keep going, and we have to keep being eager, and we have to keep looking at ourselves in the mirror every single day and saying, I'm not there, but today I can be better. You see, generally we are not changing in a flash. In the Shastra, we find all of these accounts where individuals just have this immediate change. We were thinking it would be like that. The day we came to the Krishna consciousness movement, it's never going to be the same again. But then we go back into our old habits again. So, step by step, bit by bit, we are going and we're trying to improve. So yesterday I was mentioning in the Brahmachari class that we have to become very, very thoughtful. We have to observe our inner world. I was encouraging all the devotees that if we can all journal and write our thoughts, our hopes, our successes, our failures, our observations of ourselves, how we can improve, then if we become very, very thoughtful, then what will happen is the quality of our inner life and our inner devotion to Krishna will become refined over time. So yes, there is a gap, and but it's okay. You are a different person. You are not who you were 5 years ago. You're not who you were 10 years ago. You've changed. Yes, I have so much more to change, but you've already changed. That means the process works. Therefore, you have to keep walking. So they say if you're walking through chaos, just keep walking. So we're walking through this world and it's a little bit chaotic, and we keep walking, keep going forward. It's okay. I could go in more detail, but I think this is the essence of...
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for always enlightening us with your profound knowledge. I am very much indebted to you. Maharaj, I have one question since long time. How to maintain balance between self-respect, humility, and tolerance?
You see, humility is based not on self-deprecating ourselves. Humility is based on seeing the greatness of Krishna. A devotee, as they get closer and closer to Krishna, they begin to feel themselves smaller and smaller. But it's joyful insignificance because it's in relation to the greatness of Krishna. That's how you can be humble and at the same time have self-respect, because you understand, I'm not anything great, but I have the opportunity to serve Krishna. And therefore a devotee is simultaneously humble and at the same time has self-respect. They understand that like one devotee came to Prabhupada and said, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada said, you're the most nothing. You can do something. So you can do something for Krishna. And therefore, the self has some value. And whatever we can do for Krishna, Krishna accepts it. Therefore, So like this, we are fallen, but we are very, very hopeful. That's why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami can say, I'm lower than the worm in the stool, I'm more sinful than Jagai and Madai. Anyone who sees me loses their pious credits. And then in the very next verse he says, but I got the mercy of Nityananda, and therefore I'm very, very hopeful. So a devotee is fallen but hopeful, and in that way humble, but at the same time has some value for themselves. And tolerance means, yes, externally we may have to address things. Externally, if someone does something wrong, we may have to point it out. Externally, if there is a difficult situation, we may have to act to change it. But internally, one should be tolerant. Internally, one should realize the world is made like this. The world is meant to be like this. The world is perfectly imperfect. When I see the imperfection of the world, I should be joyful. This is perfect. Because we need to get out. And therefore, Krishna needs to give us a helping hand. So, like this. So these are some thoughts. I hope this helps in some way.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj, for your enlightening talk. I have been following your channel, Wisdom That Breathe, and I have listened to many, many, many lectures of yours, and you've been always enlightening me. And one thing, I can tell you one incident that one day I was seriously contemplating on stopping this devotional service because I was thinking that I was not getting any taste for it. And that day I listened to one class of yours where you said that stopping now is like coming to the finish line and then going back. And that was really a turning point for me. So thank you so much for everything. And I have one question, that how do women approach Vanaprastha? How should we prepare for Vanaprastha? And how does it look like in this current age? Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much. Yes, Vanaprastha is definitely the finishing line. You're there. Actually, I feel that Vanaprastha ashram is the most joyful ashram. Brahmacharis, when we are brahmacharis in our early life, we still have a whole life ahead of us. So many decisions, so many complexities. It's a stressful ashram as well. Sometimes. Grihastha ashram, I don't know, you can say better than me. But it's also a stressful ashram. No, so many responsibilities, so many. Sannyas ashram, wow. Also a little stressful, a lot of traveling, moving, management. So nice, can serve, but Vanaprastha, very nice ashram. It's almost in the middle of everything. Get the best of everything. So actually Vanaprastha ashram is a very beautiful ashram because you've lived out your life, desires have been fulfilled, kids have grown up, you have time, you have space, you still have good health. You can do so many things for Krishna. So what does Vanaprastha ashram look like for you? Do more service. Now you can live around. Just see this beautiful temple. It's just such a center of devotional service. Morning to evening, you can come here. You can make garlands. You can teach. You can do so many things. So number one, do more service. Number two, spend time in the holy dham. See, what we have to do before we leave this world is you have to lose your heart in Vrindavan. And therefore, if you lose your heart in Vrindavan, then your life is perfect. So spend time in the holy dham. You can go. You're in India. You're so close. You can go anytime you want. Study Shastra. Chant the holy name of Krishna. Yes, what about one day a week if you just go away and chant 64 rounds. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we will enter into a different relationship with the holy name. You have all the time, you have all the opportunity. How many lifetimes did it take to get to this point? So, you're at the finish line. Don't give up. Now? Okay. So I just speak one thing and then be... Okay, what I'll do, let me just take the final questions and then I'll do that last thing. Is that okay? Yeah? Well, but actually, Prabhu, when shall we stop? Because I'm over time, no? Okay, this is last question and then I'll just say something and then...
So,
Okay.
thank you, Maharaj, for your wonderful class. I had a question about this technology thing. So, theoretically, I understand. I'm trying to implement it in my life. But for the younger generation, how do we represent and convince, or, the way that, they don't get too much into it? Because nowadays it's too much for them. Everything is phone. Everything is Instagram. Their life is all that.
Yes. See, how much are you going to be able to stop your children from being on their devices? You can tell them certain hours of the day, don't use it. You can create some boundaries that may help. The reality of this world is that it's moving in a certain direction. I don't know how much you're going to be able to stop it. But what you can begin to do is give them a higher taste. I think in this age, there's no other way. You need to give them a higher taste. If they appreciate hearing, chanting, if they appreciate simplicity, if they like to do Krishna conscious activities, then naturally that will take them away from wasting their brain cells on all these things. So sometimes I feel what we're trying to do in the world is we're trying to fight a battle that you're not going to be able to win. Therefore, instead of trying to stop them from something, we have to try to give them something better. And therefore, maybe create some boundaries in how they use technology, but then overall just try to give them entrance into a better life, a more fulfilling life. Appreciate nature, isn't it? Now it's like kids don't go out and play in the park anymore. They play on a football ground in the screen. So let them appreciate nature. Go, take them to places where they connect. Like that. So, anyway, so much more can be said on this. But. Okay, so I'll just finish up here because, so one final thing we want to share with everyone. As you know, Srila Prabhupada gifted us many, many things. Srila Prabhupada was an ambassador of the spiritual world. And so Srila Prabhupada brought the wealth of the spiritual world down here into this material manifestation. And one of the greatest treasure houses that Srila Prabhupada brought to this world was the Srimad Bhagavatam. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So the Bhagavatam is very, very significant in our life. Actually, what we're all trying to do in our life is to make the Bhagavatam our best friend. Sanatan Goswami says this. Madeka bandhu mad sangin mad guru mad mahadhana mad nishtaraka mad bhagya mad ananda namostute. He looks at Srimad Bhagavatam and he says, Srimad Bhagavatam madeka bandhu, you are my best friend. Mad sangin, you are my constant companion. Madguru, you're my spiritual teacher. Man Mahadhana, you're my greatest wealth. Man Nishtaraka, Srimad Bhagavatam, you are lifting me up. Mad Bhagya, Srimad Bhagavatam, you're the best thing that happened to me in my life. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to you. So if one develops a very, very close relationship with Srimad Bhagavatam, then their life becomes glorious. So what we do in the ISKCON world is we try to give everyone an opportunity to establish their relationship with Srimad Bhagavatam. So as you know now, in this time of the year, the month of Bhadra is beginning. And in this month, the devotees are distributing Srimad Bhagavatam sets to everyone and anyone to give them the opportunity to connect. So I think Pune has a... now you are the top in India, no? Book distribution, is it? Oh, you've divided. So you're not the top anymore. Okay, because I heard Pune was on the top now. You had also beaten Delhi. Anyway, it's there. So so yes, we are trying to distribute thousands and thousands of Bhagavatam sets. So yes, Prabhuji, is there any specific announcement or you want me to make? Sarvalakshan Prabhu? Sarvalakshan Prabhu will tell us how we can all get involved. If anyone wants to purchase a Bhagavatam set today, I am also selling Bhagavatam sets. Yes. Okay, yes. So one other announcement for today as we speak about book distribution. Srila Prabhupada had many ambassadors of book distribution, but perhaps one of the most illustrious and eminent personalities who perhaps expanded Srila Prabhupada's book distribution, especially in India, like nobody else, was His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And today is, according to the Western calendar, today is the appearance day of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki. So I'm sure if Gopal Krishna Maharaj was sitting here today, then he would tell you from the depths of his heart to try to please distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. If you don't have a set at home, then that's the first thing. And then to try to distribute to many others. So Sarvalakshan Prabhu will tell us more.
Hare Krishna. So this year, whole world, we are going to distribute 68,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets.
Haribol.
So this will be dedicated to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, because Maharaj left his body this year only. And we have a target of distributing 1 lakh sets in 2026. Haribol.
Haribol.
So, in Pune, we have very special scheme. So, all of us, we have to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. Our target for NVCC is 1,000 sets and Kunjiberi is 800 sets. So it is very easy, and just now we heard from Maharaj. Maharaj was from beginning to end of his class, he was quoting so many verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. We can see how Maharaj is blissful by reading and sharing Srimad Bhagavatam. So recently we had one camp by deaf community. So one of the deaf person, he started that deaf community with 5 members. Now they are 1,005 members.
Wow.
So they had their 5th anniversary celebrating below the temple hall, that is Bhaktivedanta hall. And I just announced them that all of you can also read Srimad Bhagavatam. You may not believe, 7 people took Srimad Bhagavatam.
Jai Haribo.
They cannot speak, they cannot hear, but they want to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in Pune, we have a special scheme that we can distribute Srimad Bhagavatam by EMI system, EMI scheme. EMI, all of you know about EMI. We purchase flats through EMI. We purchase so many vehicles through EMI. Now we can even purchase Srimad Bhagavatam through EMI.
Haribo.
So, if you want to purchase one Srimad Bhagavatam set in Marathi, how much we have to pay? Per month, only 300 rupees. That means 10 rupees per day. We can read Srimad Bhagavatam by paying 10 rupees per day. That is available. So, this year, at least every devotee distributes 10 Bhagavatam sets. In Pune, we can distribute 50,000 Bhagavatam sets. Even in Pune itself, we can distribute 68,000 Bhagavatam sets. When Srila Prabhupada went to America, he carried 200 sets. First time when he was going to America, he had only 40 rupees in his hand and no relatives, no friends, no connection with anyone, but still he had so much faith that this Srimad Bhagavatam can perform the revolution in the impious hearts of the people. So, we can distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, and this year we are going to have one stall separately for Srimad Bhagavatam during Janmashtami, but we can distribute Srimad Bhagavatam to our own relatives and friends. Just take out your mobile phone, and we have so many contacts, just contact them and distribute Bhagavatam to them. And if you want to know more about distributing Srimad Bhagavatam through EMI system, you can approach Jivadaya. And today, if you want to purchase Bhagavatam sets from Maharaj's hand, you can come here. So you can raise your hands. If you want to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, also you can come here. Yes, Mataji is raising hands. How many of you want to distribute at least one set of Bhagavatam sets? Raise your hands. Today, Jai. So, all of you can distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. If anybody wants to purchase Bhagavatam set for yourself, you can take signature from Maharaj's hand. So, Maharaj has written so many books here. Huh? Abhi to do ye. Okay. So, Gita 3 and book Bhagavatam. So, 2 books are available here. Yeah. This is about summary of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, if anybody wants to take these books, also you can come here and take signature from Maharaj's hand. Hare Krishna.
So thank you everyone so much. It's been an honor to be with all of you. And well, I would invite you to come to London, but maybe you don't need to. But if you ever are in London, then please come to Bhaktivedanta Mana, Srila Prabhupada's embassy that he created. Otherwise, we wish you the best in all of your service. May you continue to be the inspiration and shining example for the whole of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We thank Maharaj by expressing our love. We heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Maharaj. We want to hear again and again. So, but time is very limited. So we request Maharaj to visit Pune every time. And let us thank Maharaj by chanting Hare Krishna from the heart loudly. And Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.